Sharing a meal is sharing a bit of ourselves. We learn about each other on another level, especially when a dish or tradition gives a glimpse into someone else's life. And with that in mind, I was able to connect with Toronto Maple Leafs forward William Nylander, as he created a traditional Swedish menu for myself and some of his teammates to celebrate his culture and learn about the experiences of the star Swedish player. So once again, let's set the table for a three-course conversation.
What's up, boys? Good to see you. Absolutely. Great to see you. Welcome.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We have a great group joining us, starting with Morgan Rielly. Mo is the longest running member of the team, and his extraordinary leadership and exceptional defending is why he's serving his 7th year as an alternate captain. Born and raised in Sweden, Timothy Lilegren played in the Swedish Hockey League before signing with Toronto in 2017. Since joining the Maple Leafs, he's become a versatile defenseman and a calming presence on the ice. Justin Holl first came to Toronto in 2015 to play with the Marlies, and in 2018, he helped them raise the Calder Cup. That same year, he became the first Leafs defenseman to score 2 goals in his first 2 NHL games, and he has not looked back since. William Nylander, also known as Willie Styles, was drafted by the Leafs as a top prospect back in 2014. An elite and agile skater, Nylander continues to elevate his game and style on and off the ice. The talented winger was born in Canada and has Swedish heritage. He's represented Team Sweden at multiple World Championships, winning a world title in 2017. We're here obviously because continuing on with our three-course conversation and being able to celebrate our team's diversity through food. And today we get to celebrate our boy Willie here and learn.
So this is not just me. This is all the Swedes on the team.
Well, true. We're learning about all the Swedes on the team and Timmy, of course, as well. But to make sure that we had authentic Swedish cuisine, I want to introduce a friend of mine that we had brought in, Chef Lottie.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Okay.
Good. Hey.
This is our Swedish Chef Lottie, and do you want to tell us a little bit about what will be our first course?
Playing a little bit on a Swedish smorgasbord. So we're gonna have 2 parts of what belongs to a Swedish buffet table. So we're gonna have a shrimp sandwich, räkmacka, and then we're gonna have some gravlax, so dill-cured salmons.
With
Enjoy.
a special sauce.
With a special mustard sauce, absolutely.
How do you attack this thing? Do you use your hands or you use a fork and knife?
Well, usually sometimes I have this on the golf course and I just smash it in my face.
It's like a
But
sandwich?
now we're having dinner. We can
Yeah.
we can
a little classier.
Make it a little classier, yeah.
You know,
When you were growing up in North America, did you have much of this, this type of stuff, like the Swedish food, or?
like this would be hard because my dad loves to cook, but he would make this this was classic Christmas.
Like you always have that on
Yeah.
holidays and
Yeah, okay.
stuff like that.
This?
And
This is Christmas
That's the
food?
gravlax.
Oh, that.
How do you say that? Gravlax?
Gravlax.
Gravlax.
You guys were talking last night about our food in Canada being bland compared to Swedish food, and that's why you put ketchup on it.
Is that true?
Can we get some honesty for once?
Well, Timmy's
off the record.
ketchup god.
He hammers it on his pasta.
On pasta.
Insane. Oh yeah. For pregame meal and stuff.
We'll have sauce on it.
He has
Like he
sauce.
needs
He's got
But
4
that
different
is super
sauces.
Swedish.
Is it
super
really?
Swedish.
Pasta, meat sauce, rosé sauce, and ketchup. Very good.
Timmy, that's nuts.
Yeah, what do you guys think about
That one was good. Well, it's all been good so far.
I really like, I can't say it, but the shrimp one.
Yeah, that was good.
Very good.
Yeah, that shrimp sandy is great. It is kind of shocking to me that you would eat that on a golf course, though.
Yeah.
Like, it seems kind of difficult to eat with the golf glove on.
Is it like wrapped in a bag? Like how's it presented on
Comes out like this.
Really?
Yeah. Like you just gotta eat it fast.
Are you guys ready for the next course?
Keep them coming.
All right, Willie, so what's the second course? That first one I think was a huge hit. What do we have coming out next?
Timmy would only come if we had this course.
Okay.
So it's Swedish meatballs with
Okay.
some gravy, potatoes, and lingonberries. I think it's
We're familiar with the Swedish. This is your favorite of yours, Timmy?
Yeah. Every time I go over to Toronto after summer, this is the meal I tell my mom to cook as my last meal before I go over. So
Okay, awesome. Well, let's get into
Have you
it.
guys ever had this before?
I don't know if I've had Swedish meatballs, no.
No?
But judging by Timmy's excitement when we were talking,
He really brought the energy up there when he was talking about it. Yeah.
What's the difference like between an Italian?
They're square.
They're like
square.
smaller. They're like
Meat squares.
They taste differently. Like, I don't know if they throw like,
There's a different sauce, like it's a special sauce, right?
there's a different sauce that comes with it too. Like, it's kind of gravy, but it's a little bit more like creamier. I don't know.
Let me explain Swedish meatballs.
You guys explain it to us when you guys try it.
The Canadian Swede.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, Halsey is a little bit Swedish.
He is a little bit sweet.
That's Swedish middle name.
Gunnar.
That's right.
Gunnar.
Gunnar.
This works out. So Timmy, you've had the first couple bites. How is it?
Very good.
Yeah?
Tastes just like home.
Timmy, you had a little bit of a different, experience coming over here. A first round draft pick. A guy like Willie, would have been born in Canada and grew up in America as well. But we had, I think it was something when you first played with the Marlies, there was like 6 or 7 Swedes that were already on the team. Can you speak to what influence that would have had on you, I suppose, of just helping you feel more comfortable coming in as a young guy? I don't know what your English was like before when you first came, but having English as a second language and the difference it would have been or the impact it would have had on you to have so many players that could already relate to your experience.
Yeah, I think it was huge for me to have other Swedes in the team already. I think came over when I was 18, different country, so it's a little bit scary, but Willie was here, took care of me on training camp, and some other Swedes as well, so it just makes the whole thing easier, being able to express yourself a little bit easier, speaking Swedish with those guys, and if you need anything you can talk to, and they can help you with stuff, so I think that was very good for me.
For sure. Do you think, if North American players had more experience playing in Europe along with some of our journeys, that we would have a greater appreciation like that, especially the English as a second language, or just being integrated into environments where you can't speak your native tongue? If that was something that we did versus you guys coming here, do you think there'd be more appreciation, I guess, from the North American players for what it's like for a Swedish-born player, to have to embrace and immerse themselves in a new environment?
Yeah, I think they maybe get a little bit more of an understanding for what it's like for a player like that to come here. Like jokes, everything is just like Halsey could be hilarious in English, and then he comes to Sweden. It's a little bit different culture. People might not understand
What are you trying to
what
say?
what he like how his jokes. Do you know what I mean? So it's just very different. I think Justin would be funny in Sweden too, but you know what I mean? It's just a little bit different, and it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But I think guys would understand maybe a little bit more why it might be easier for some guys to speak Swedish versus trying to explain themselves in English.
For sure. Well, that's something we'd hear in the locker rooms sometimes, if you have a few Swedes or Russians or Czechs, and guys would say English only, but it's like for you guys, it's like, well, this is actually kind of our comfort of being able to communicate with each other, and you probably seek each other out. Like I, a few times, but seldom in my career, had another black teammate, and whether you want to or not, you kind of just gravitate towards each other because you know that other person in the room is gonna have a similar experience to whatever this thing is that you're. So even in your most comfortable environment, I think you can sometimes kind of feel a little uncomfortable. Timmy, is that something you would have experienced, as coming over and at moments feeling a little uncomfortable in what's a comfortable environment for you?
I feel pretty confident in speaking English, but sometimes you struggle to find a certain word or whatever, and get a little bit stressed. Feels like you're talking weird. So yeah, I get more comfortable. Obviously I've been here 6 years now, so I feel pretty comfortable. But from the beginning, that was a part that was a little bit tough. You felt confident in speaking, and then there was one word you couldn't say, and then can destroy your whole sentence. So
that's probably an anxious feeling too, right? You're I think I know what I'm saying, but now I'm stuck in a block, and we wouldn't really know what that's like.
No, I think that'd be really challenging. If it was me and Halsey and we went over to Sweden or to a different country to play where that wasn't our comfort zone and we couldn't speak the language as well, that'd be challenging. And
And on the flip side, if you had another North American there, you'd probably gravitate.
Exactly. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah. Like, speaking from experience, that's exactly what you do, and in ways where you're trying. So I've had that like reverse lens now, where you're not trying to.
Almost like a survival thing.
Yeah, kind of, exactly. You're not trying to not embrace the culture. We're like, this is just the best way I can embrace this, finding my comfort zone, and then learning about these new norms that are practiced over here.
But like, I don't know, for me, like, I guess it's just normal, you know, like people have grown up like in that culture. They like, you know, it's just, they gravitate towards each other, which is, I think is like absolutely fine. Like, I'm not, like, everybody should be able to be comfortable in being who they are, right? So, I mean, I think that's been like an incredible aspect on our team here. Like, everybody has, like, especially North American guys, like, they haven't been worried about Swedish guys being Swedish, whatever, like talking like, you know, like, I think that's very huge, and I think that helps the team grow and let them, you know, be themselves in more and more of a way.
Absolutely. Willie, what's something that you feel like Swedish hockey players have influence in the game of hockey or in the NHL?
I think maybe playing more of a possession game with a puck and maybe holding on to it in the yellow zone, like the Sedin brothers did. So yeah, I think that's something that
possession.
Yeah. So they or we have tried to.
Not rimming. Go ahead, guys. Say what you need to say. Different style of play over here, though.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I grew up in Vancouver, so I used to watch the Twins, and they just never gave the puck up. They just were able to hold on to it. So if I was going to answer that question, just from my perspective, I think it's just like the skill, possession, you know, holding onto the puck, that whole thing. And like if you watch Will and Timmy and like our guys, I mean, it's like the same style, which is cool to see. And is it a culture thing? I don't know. It's hard to say. But like, I mean, you said when you were younger, you weren't dumping it in.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like in Sweden, we have the bigger ice as well, so you have more space.
Right. Is it Olympic sheet everywhere?
Yeah. I don't know the measurements, but it's bigger. So I think you have more space, and I think you get taught to like hold on to the puck more.
And even like if you don't have the puck, you're not like, I don't think you're like forechecking like 2-1-2.
No, that's actually one of the things.
It's like it's bigger, so you have more space. Like here is more compact. Like you don't really have room always to like gain the zone with possession. Like
Or always turn back or whatever.
Yeah.
What do we have coming up next for dessert, Willie?
We got a princess cake.
Made with almonds, so almond paste. So, and the layers have vanilla custard, raspberry jam, and on top is cream.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Wonderful. Thank you.
That's great.
So, bon appetit.
Thank you very much. Jose, as we were just mentioning, you know, with the Swedish game, having different nuances than what we grew up playing. Like, is there anything you see in your Swedish teammates right now that you admire?
Yeah, I think, you know, we touched on earlier about the possession game and, you know, making a play with the puck as opposed to dumping it in or, you know, chipping it by. And I think just the skill kind of jumps out. Like, have some really, really skilled players, and it's fun to watch.
They make it look like it's just normal.
Yeah, and I can relate because I'm extremely skilled as well. But it's fun to watch.
I remember when Will got here, after we drafted him, and he would go out on the ice early, and I mean, this is what he does still, but he would do like a lot of pucks, like skill work, like in small areas around pucks and around cones and stuff. And like, we didn't have a ton of guys that were doing that at the time. It was more like,
what is this?
and like, but do you remember one time you went out with like Colton Orr?
Yeah.
And he was doing them with you, and like, we just didn't have guys that really did that very much. So like,
But that's awesome.
yeah,
though.
but it was almost like I just want to do what he's doing and try it. So like, but that in its own way is like, you know, being a leader, you're doing your own thing, you're working on your own game, and it influences other people to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Because for the longest time, like, I don't know, we had guys doing workouts and like lifts and stuff before we'd go out, and that's important too. But like, there's a whole element to the game that, you know, I think it gets lost at times, and you know, you bring in other guys and they work on different things, and that's what makes a team. So
I guess for the group around here, around the table, what is the importance that you each feel in being able to preserve like different cultures in the game as well? You know, we have different nationalities sitting right here, different ethnic backgrounds, but being able to bring that part of yourself into the game, we all understand each other at a really, you know, intimate level as hockey players. But, you know, what is it, maybe Mo, I'll start with you, but like the importance you find in preserving different cultures that are represented in our game as ways where we can kind of learn for each other?
I mean, with that question, what kind of jumps out is just trying to make your teammates feel comfortable. And, you know, if that's just being able to be yourself, and I mean, if that means that, I mean, our Swedes want to hang out with one another, then, you know, we have to support that and you know, make them feel comfortable.
They want to get on the elevator first.
Yeah, they want to. That's all good.
Support it.
So, and then I think, yeah, just being the person who's open to that, open to other cultures, and, you know, being able to express yourself and let your teammates do the same.
Timmy?
Couldn't agree more with Mo. Respect each other and you know, be open to different cultures and yeah.
Jose, what about you?
Yeah, I think, you know, everyone's proud of where they came from, and you certainly have an affinity for, you know, where you grew up. But I think that's one of the cool things about hockey. We kind of touched on it earlier, but you see so many guys and you meet so many players from different cultures from all over the world. So it's fun to learn about, you know, what their life has been like, and you know, they probably pick up stuff from our culture and you pick up stuff from theirs, and you try to learn a couple Swedish words here and there just to be part of the group. And,
Not just the bad ones?
Yeah, no, usually just the bad ones.
Okay, Willie, so just like to wrap with you, you know, the idea of the importance of preserving culture in our game and the different cultures that we, you know, get experience to in our game each day. What's the importance of that for you?
No, I mean, I think it's huge, and I think since day one I got here, like, they just took me in and they just let me be who I was like, who I am. Like, I know, like, sometimes coming up as a young kid or whatever, it could be, you like shy or maybe not want to be like who you are, but they just let me be who I was and made me comfortable being me. And I think that's the most important thing, knowing that everybody comes from different places. And I mean, to get that team together, everybody has to be comfortable being themselves. So I think very thankful for that and what you guys did for me there. And I think that that's where we got to keep everything at, so everybody could just be themselves.
I appreciate that, and that's a lot of the work that we're trying to do. I'm certainly trying to do with you guys. You know, we know, again, it's a very international sport, and we're a brotherhood in the locker room, and we know what that's like, but there's a lot of, whether it's speaking English as a second language, you know, or you know, women in the workplace, you know, our queer community in the workplace, having, you know, last year talking with Simmer and what, you know, things were like for him throughout 2020, and just being able to appreciate the different perspectives of what we offer around the table and in our locker room, and a little bit more than we ever have in the past, actually, beyond just the hockey ways, start to understand each other a bit more. So, no, I appreciate this. Willie, again, thank you, and for the guys for joining us and for sharing some of your culture, and certainly Timmy as well, who seemed to know a bit more about the culture. But I'm happy, you know, that you guys can come over and have a chance to do this again and just, you know, celebrate the things that make us different, but the diversity that exists amongst our group. So appreciate you all for being here.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
us.
It was great.
Lots of fun, great food.
Great food.
I got well, some Tupperware for you to take those meatballs.
Industrial size stuff.